All right. Hello, everybody. I am live. Let's see if we can get that herky in there. Okay. I am live. Um, I'm live. Okay. And so, yeah, should I say that one more time? Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about today about the men's two-game winning streak. First time since mid-January, I believe that they've had a two-game winning streak. Um, Also, we want to talk a little bit about Caitlin. I haven't done Caitlin's record yet. Um, I know I'm a little late getting on here, guys. And so I just want to talk about that. Caitlin, she got against Michigan, she got her 49 points, set the record within 2 minutes and a few seconds. She needed 8 points going into that game. She hit her 8 point from a logo three. Lisa Bluter calls the timeout, and they kind of celebrate for a minute on the sidelines before they get back to work and kind of destroy Michigan at that point. But anyway, Caitlin had in that game 49 points, 13 assists, and 5 rebounds. And it's just like she's just doing her usual workman thing. And so after that, Michigan becomes 16-10 and 7-7 in the Big Ten. Iowa's currently 23-3, 12-2, heading into the Indiana game tonight, which is going to take place here in about little at my thing, not quite 3 hours, about 2.5, a little more. Hours for everybody, and so it's going to be a good game. They're rated number 14th. Indiana is coming off a huge upset loss to Illinois. 20 points, by the way, and so Illinois has now lost 4 games, 3 in the Big Ten, and 4 of those games have been to teams inside the top five. Iowa, Ohio State, and Stanford. I mean, 3 of those games. 3 of those games. Okay. Stanford, all in the top five when they lost, and Illinois lost all those games by an average of 21.5 games. And of course, Illinois, who's out of the rankings right now because they're not having quite the season that they've had lately. And so, anywho, Illinois got the best of Indiana. So Indiana has Sydney Parrish coming back. She came back from an injury. She missed a few games, and now she played 6 games against 6 minutes against Illinois, but I would expect her to be back regularly, her normal time on the floor. So Sydney Parrish is a force to be reckoned with on the floor. As is Mackenzie Holmes. We'll have to watch out for her as well. So Indiana brings in a 21-4 record and 12-3 in the Big Ten. Um, and so this game is so important for Iowa to win if we're going to keep pace with Ohio State, because I believe we're finishing up with a little bit tougher schedule than Ohio State is. So Ohio State should be favored to win all their games. This will probably be Iowa's last toughest game, but they still have a road game against Minnesota coming up. Oh shoot, and Ohio State, I forget who else they have coming up. And so 12-3, so they're at 15. They got one other game in there, guys. Help me out. They have 18 games. I got at Minnesota, tonight at Indiana, and I can't think of who the other game is. So darn, can't think of it. All right, so um, anyway, so this is how important this beating number 14 Indiana is going to be tonight. And they got to remain focused. I don't like the idea that Illinois beat Indiana and they're coming off a loss. Indiana, they're going to want this game really, really well. And Penn State's the other team. Thank you, South Bend. Is the other third team. So Penn State's we should get Penn State with no problem. Um, Ohio State, I still believe we can win that game at home. But Penn State's really proven to be really tough, guys. They're really proven to be tough. Hang on for a second. I just realized I was looking a little dark there. Okay, so they're really looking tough right now, and they actually look like a better team than Iowa at the current time, and they're taking care of business. The only thing I don't like is that Ohio State and Indiana don't have to play each other a second time. They only played once, and I wish they would play each other a second time. That's not right. That Iowa has to play both of them, and then they don't have and the other two don't have to play each other. I mean, come on, Big Ten. Let's set this up fairly, okay? Let's set this up fairly. All right. Okay, so the game will be on here in about 2.5 hours, a little less than that. I don't remember. 3 4 o'clock my time, so actually about an hour and a half or so. And so I don't know. I just think Illinois is going to. I mean, not Illinois. I got Illinois on my mind because we're going to preview that game with the men here in a few minutes. And so, all right. And so, anyway, I'm just going to go move on because I've said about everything I can say about tonight's game, and you guys know the score. You know how important it is for Hawkeyes to win tonight. Okay, so let's look at it this way. Iowa's on a 2-game winning streak. The men, okay, 2 quad 1 wins, and last night, without either Iowa or Minnesota playing last night, they pick up a third quad 1 win because Minnesota qualified to be a quad 1 win, so they picked that up. Right now, Nebraska is 47, so I don't know if they can get in the top 30. They have to get in the top 30 for Iowa to pick that up as a quad 1 win and reevaluate that one, but we shall see. Okay. So the latest game we have, Iowa wins 78-71 against Michigan State, against a team that I didn't think we could beat. Um, Honestly, I didn't think we could beat Wisconsin or Michigan State, so I counted these as losses. I really did. And so Iowa's now 16-11, 8-8 over in the Big Ten, and Michigan State is now 17-10 and 9-7. Okay, Iowa, despite they're not shooting their free 3-pointers as well as they could, they shot 31% compared to 50% for Michigan State. In the Wisconsin game, they shot 29% from the 3-point line. We are no longer a 3-point shooting team, guys, and we only took, I think, six attempts against Michigan State. We only tried 6 attempts, or we had 6 3-pointers. I don't know, but that is just crazy. But everything else against Michigan State panned out. You know, we shot 51%, they shot 45%. Free throws 78% for us, which I'd like to see that over 80. And the other thing is Michigan only shot 50% free throws. This is the Tom Izzo team, guys. Tom Izzo. His teams aren't supposed to shoot that badly. Okay, we got 35 rebounds compared to their 4. We turned it over only 6 times, but 2 of them fall on Josh Dix at the most inopportune times in the game. And they had 8 turnovers. We had 3 steals. They had 1 steal. Looking at the scores, though, Cricky finally come alive after not doing anything for rebounds and scoring the last 4 or 5 games. Cricky finally comes around, scores 18 points, has 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 0 blocks. That we needed out of him, guys. We needed that out of him. Freeman, considering that he only played about 6 or 8 minutes in the whole game, because of foul trouble, and we usually don't do well when he's on the bench because of foul trouble. He's 3 of 3 for 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block shot. Not bad in 8 minutes of work, guys. Just imagine what he can do if he can figure out how to quit fouling. I mean, that is just crazy. He just needs to figure this out. Somebody needs to teach him, get down there and work with him and not fouling. Okay, he's really a foul magnet. He is. And I mentioned this on Corey's show last night. For those of you that listen to Corey, I mentioned it, and he actually read that comment out loud that I'm about to tell you. Is I remembered that Garza and both Murrays were foul magnets too. Um, when they were freshmen. However, probably not to the degree that we're seeing from Freeman. And you guys remember Woodbury way back when. Probably played on one of the Fran's best defensive teams. He in his career, he also was a foul magnet. So that post position is going to be it's hard to play. It's easy to get fouled. It's easy to foul, and we just got to learn how to draw the fouls. I hope somebody's going to work with Freeman on the off season, and I hope they're working with him now to get better because when that guy can just be turned loose and do his thing, and I know what he's trying to do. You can see it. He's trying to jump up there and block shots, disrupt the shots and stuff like that. He's just doing it at the wrong time where he's drawing fouls, and now the referee knows that he's foul prone, and so they're watching for it closer. So he's, like you saw, he got 2 fouls right away early in the game, and then I believe they brought him back in and he got a 3rd foul right away and in the first half, so I think he had to sit down the entire first half after that, okay? And I think he got a 4th foul not too far into the second half. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that one, okay? Josh Dix, who had been playing very well lately, um, didn't play nearly as well this game. He was only 1 for 3 with 2 points and 1 rebound, 1 assist, and he had 2 turnovers, which for him, I understand this is not normal for him, but he was dribbling into traffic really low, and these guys, you can see that the MO and the scout on Iowa is when they go in there into traffic and start dribbling low, it's just to go down there and grab the ball out of their hands is what they do. You can see it, and it just happens time again. I'm sorry, but that must be the way Josh Dix plays. Okay. And you got Perkins, who didn't have one of his greater games, but he did try to turn it on the best he could in the second half. But yeah, he was kind of non-existent too. 3 for 9, not great shooting for him. But he did have 8 points, a lot of them at the free throw line. But he did have 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 blocked shot. So you can't blame Perkins too much for that. But we really need Perkins to show up against Illinois and Cricky as well, and Freeman, and just stay out of foul trouble, and Dix to get back to what he was doing. Um, and so then we have Peyton Stanford, who got 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. So Peyton is starting to turn it on, and I hear now he's showing up on everybody's draft board, which is crazy because that's crazy because I don't see him as a draft pick. Not yet, anyway. I mean, I think if this guy lives up to his potential, he will be. But I mean, for what I'm seeing this year, he's not. But expect him to announce, like just like the Murrays and Garza did. Expect him to announce after the season that he is going to explore the NBA. He's going to go find out what he needs to do, which I have no problem with because that only brings him back and he becomes a better player for Iowa. So I believe that he'll be back in Iowa uniform next year. I believe he's going to explore his options in the NBA and get evaluated and find out what he needs to do. Dembele, only 1 for 5, but he hit a 3 pointer, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. I think the potential there. Um, okay. Am I in it? NBA scout? No, of course not. I'm not. You know better. But I mean, let's face it, South Bend, do you think he's NBA ready? Do you think? I mean, I know I've heard that he's on the pre-draft boards, but do you think he's ready? I don't. But then again, like you said, I'm not a scout. Okay. PMAC comes alive. 5 for 8, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block shot himself. Bryce, and the only other person to do anything was 1 for 1. with 3 points and one blocked shot. Harding had one assist. And guys, have you noticed that Harding's playing more than Bowen? Bowen didn't even play this week against Michigan State. Is Bowen done? Does he transfer? I think he transfers at the end of the season. And what about McColvey? Is he gonna leave too? Um, he's not. He left high school early because Iowa needed a big man, and he thought he could come in and fill that role right away. He's not working out. Um, so he's not working out the way he is, but I'll hold out hope that he'll come back because we will need a big man next year, and it shouldn't be Dembele. Cricky will be gone. Dembele's not ready to take over that role because we need somebody who can get the ball and score it inside on the rim. Dembele's proved that he can't do that. He also proved that he's a foul magnet himself. Okay, so Iowa's now 3-7 in quad one wins. Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Minnesota now. If I go back to where we at? Oh yeah. If we back up a little bit to the Wisconsin game, we see that Iowa shot 53% over the 47% of Wisconsin, and they shot 44% from the 3-point line. It's amazing the way these other teams have been shooting 3-pointers against us that we were able to hang in there and beat these teams. Okay. Rebounds are nearly even, 32 to 35. Turnovers, 7 for them, 9 for us. Steals, they got 5, and we got 4. So, but Freeman, this is where Freeman went off in this game. 20 points, 6 assists, two steals, 4 block shots, and 12 rebounds. We need Freeman to do that all the time. See what happens when he can stay out of foul trouble, boys. Okay. Dix had 17 points, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds. That's what we need out of Dix every time. Okay, Perkins, 18 points, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 4 rebounds, and one steal. And Peyton, 18 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 block shots. And so doing that, guys, that's our starting 5 right there. 1, 2, 3. 4 of our starting 5 produced. Cricky, our starting post player, or maybe he's more of a starting forward. Maybe we're playing 2 forwards, not a post player. 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 block shot. They were saying on the news on the show the other night that people have, or no, Jordan Bohannon said this in his podcast that Cricky has a spin move to the left that people know where now to get in there and stop him, and can stop him from doing that. So he's not been nearly as effective. And you notice that he's not hitting the 3-pointers like he used to. So I just wish he'd stop shooting them because he's not a shooter. Okay. In all reality, he's just not a shooter. And so I think that looked pretty good, guys. I mean, let's face it. That's about as good a stat line as you can get from your starting 5. Really, it is. Cricky needs to add to that. Fortunately, we won the game. And so, saying that, now I kind of want to just move on a little bit and kind of look ahead to the Illinois game. Illinois gets beat by Penn State after being up by, how many points were they up by? 10? Let's see. I got my notes here, guys. Okay. Illinois had a 10-point lead with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. They had that game wrapped up. I didn't watch the game, but I'm going to guess they went in cruise control, just like Iowa did against Nebraska, thinking they had that game. Okay. So Illinois loses to Penn State 90-89. Who knew that Penn State could score that much? Maybe they're not going to be the easy win I was hoping they would be at home when we play them. I believe they're our next game after Illinois. Okay. Or Northwestern is and then Penn State. I can't remember which. Okay. But it's one of the next 2 games. All right. Okay. Illinois is 19-7 now, 10-5. Second place in the Big Ten. or as you want to say, number 2 seed. But they're 2-2 in their last 4 games. Okay, they got 4 players averaging in double figures. Illinois averages 42 rebounds a game. Okay, that's number 1 in the Big Ten and number 4 nationally. Um, to say the least, Illinois will not be easy, especially on the road, because you guys want to know the last time we won at Illinois? 2008. 2008. 18, I'm sorry, 2018. January 11th, 2018, when we won in overtime, 104-87. And so we haven't done that lately. But the good news is we are 11-9 against Illinois in the last 20 meetings. And we got the last meeting we met with them last year, we won that game. Now, if I remember right, Iowa finished the season on a downhill slide, so I'm gonna guess maybe Illinois was our last win or something. I don't know. Because if you guys remember right, I think we finished on a 2 or 3 game slide, lost our first game in the Big Ten tournament, and lost our first game in the NCAA to finish with only 19 wins last year. I kept thinking, we'll get to 20 wins. We'll get to 20 wins. We've got a lot of games to do it. Hawkeyes just decided that 19 was looking good for them. Yeah, okay. And then a little something on the football news. We got Cooper not going to the combine. And I didn't expect him to go to the combine, but I think people are making a bigger deal out of it than it is. He's probably still on the mend. He's probably too soon for him to actually go. And so, for him to actually go to the combine, he's probably going to have to figure out a way to get drafted without the combine, obviously. And I don't know when they usually have senior days. And they usually have senior days, and so where the NFL comes to the school and looks at all the seniors and stuff and all the people who are going to get drafted. So maybe he'll be ready to go there, but I can't imagine that he's going to be anywhere near ready to be full. I mean, after all, didn't he do this injury around the first part of November, or give or take, one right around in there? And so, if you think about that, November, December, January, February, and the combine would probably be when is the combine? The NFL draft is in April, right? So the combine's probably in March sometime. Okay, so that's cool. And then there were a few others who did not get invites to the combine. Troy Taylor being a notable one, but honestly, for what Troy's going to do, he doesn't need a combine. He doesn't need a combine to prove what he can do. Okay, I do want to put this up when I talked about is Peyton Stanford ready for the NFL? South Bend did this. Sorry, South Bend, I didn't see that until just now. Well, they don't. He says they don't play defense and only shoot threes. I'd say he's ready. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But you notice Peyton don't shoot a lot of threes anymore. He's just not as he's not Caitlin Clark. Let's put it that way. Okay. So, because I didn't get a lot of comments today, and this is all I really had planned for the show. So I'm going to go ahead and move into wrestling. We got a wrestling match coming up against Oklahoma State. Okay, guys, I got them picked. I have picked them to get six matches on Sunday afternoon, 2:00 your time, noon my time. Let me try to find that because I published the story earlier, and I want to bring it up. And so, as long as I got plenty of time, let's go for it. Here we go. All right. So, last year we won them in Iowa City, 28-7. So I'm guessing that we had 8 wins versus their 2. Okay. Okay. Of the 10 bouts in this year's edition, 9 of them will be set to rank um point. I mean ranked matchups. 9 of those will be inside the top 10, 141, 157, 165. But here's the lineup. Okay. At 125, we got number 4 Drake Ayala versus number 12 Troy Spratley. And I'm going to give this one to Drake. Okay. At 133, we got number 20 Colin Shriver, or Brody Teskey versus number 3 Dayton Fix. And I don't think it doesn't matter. I'm going to give this one. It doesn't matter which one goes out there. I'm going to give this one to Fix at 133. Number 141, number 2 Real Woods versus number 8 Tegan Jameson. I'm going to give this one to Real Woods. So that's 2 out of 3 so far. Okay, number 12 Caleb Rathjen or Victor Vonovich versus number 18 Jordan Williams or Sammy Alvarez. I'm going to give this one to Iowa too, especially if it's Caleb Rathjen. He's really coming on, and so I think, although Brands hasn't decided which one will wrestle yet, it'll probably be Caleb Rathjen, and he has to get ready to get these guys set for preseason. I mean what do you call it? Pre-seeding. Get these guys seeded for the tournament, the Big Ten tournament, and then use the seedings and do well in the Big Ten to get decent seedings inside of the nationals. Okay, at 157 we got number 5 Jared Frankie versus number 10 Teague Travis. I'm going to give this one to Jared Frankie. I'm glad to see that he is starting to get recognition and getting a better ranking than he has been in the past. At 165 is number 7 Michael Caliendo versus number 3 Isaac Olenjing. I'm gonna give this one to Oklahoma State. So that being said, and then we go number 7 Patrick Kennedy versus number 21 Braden Thomas. I'm giving this one to Patrick Kennedy. And then at 184 we got Aiden Riggins or Gabe Arnold versus number 2 Dustin Plott. If it's Riggins, it's a loss. If it's Gabe Arnold, and they can still wrestle him and still redshirt him. And that's the cool thing they can do there. They can still redshirt Gabe Arnold and wrestle him. This could be a loss even with Gabe, but if anybody who's seen Gabe wrestle in the couple matches that he did, he is a beast. He is a force to be reckoned with. He kind of reminds me of the way he goes after his opponents, the way Spencer Lee used to. Okay. And so this is probably a loss, but if Gabe Arnold wrestles, I liken our chances better than if Riggins goes after it. Okay. Number 11, Zach Glazier versus number 16, Luke Serber. Here I'm going to give this one to Zach. I still think he should be ranked higher than he is. We got to get him up to a number 8 so that he can be an all American. If he's seated number 8, he has a better chance of being all American. Not that he can't wrestle his way to that, but Iowa has some work to do. And then at number 29, Bradley Hill or Ben Keeter versus number 11, Connor Dochette. Okay, this is probably a loss. Bradley Hill or Ben Keeter. I'd like to see Ben Keeter go in this one if it were up to me, just because I think he can do much better than Bradley Hill. Not that I have anything against Bradley Hill. He's anchored that spot most of the year, but I think Ben Keeter overall is going to win that spot unless somehow by a miracle. Oh, now the name draws blank. The guy who had that spot for the years to come and is now sitting out because of gambling. I don't know if he can come back or not. I don't know what his status is. So, okay. So anyway, if you guys add that up at 6 and 5, so I think it really comes down to bonus points between the two, which team actually wins. This is going to be a tight match. Um, if it's just straight decisions by everybody, Iowa wins. But if Penn State gets some bonus points along the way, then they win because honestly, they got more higher ranked opponents than ours are. We have more lower ranked opponents than them. And so that's what's going to turn this around. By the way, they are ranked number 2 dual. Iowa's ranked number 3 dual. And I believe team wise, I believe Oklahoma State is now number 2 or number 4. One of them they're one behind Iowa, and the other one they're one ahead of Iowa. I got to look this up. Let me look real quick. Okay. Anyway, Tom Brand says we have 2 freshmen that can still wrestle and not bring them out of redshirt. We'll have a full array of options when we go down there. Brand said. Okay. It would make sense that we see them on Sunday, not only because they can wrestle and not burn a year of LHB, but they can also get a shot to prove they're one of the best 10 guys for the postseason. Arnold is coming off an injury, so that's one reason why we haven't seen a lot of him this year. And so Sunday could be an important reflection of how healthy he could be for the postseason run. It's a similar situation for Keeter, who could be looking to show that he's grown enough in his short time in the room since football season ended and be the best option for Iowa in March. I think he would be the best option. Here, so okay, here we go. Brands wants to use this to catapult themselves into the whole season. The Cowboys lead the series 29-25 to 2. Okay. All right, this is not where I saw it. I was looking for something that I thought was kind of trivial, but I thought we could do that. It doesn't matter much. So anyway, that's where we're at, guys. I think this was a good podcast. These usually go an hour because there's usually more participation, but I kind of knew going at this hour on short notice that was going to happen. I just hope that on replay everybody watches this on replay when they get a chance. And so, like I said, this probably be a short-lived podcast, considering that the Indiana game for Iowa is tonight, and we already previewed that game just now. So, guys, I appreciate you watching. Please, subscribe, like, share, comment if you want to. I really appreciate it if you would. It really helps us. It does. It really does help us if you guys would do that. I got some things I want to do with this podcast, but I need some money. And so the only way I'm going to get that is to get some sponsorships. And the only way I'm going to get sponsorships is to eventually get to 1,000 subscribers in here. Maybe I can get some sponsorships on the way. Maybe if we can get to 500 soon, maybe I can get some people to throw out some sponsorships that way and do it that way, or collaborate with somebody. And help. I know that Jason and Paul have not really. Jason's just taking a break from it. If we do some baseball ones, Jason will pop on and help with the baseball. I didn't do any baseball or softball because I'm not paying for access to watch those games this year. And so right now all their games have been on things like Flow Softball and other baseball networks that I can't get. Um, so and I got rid of my ESPN Plus, so that takes care of any of the games that may pop over on ESPN Plus too. So I really wanted to watch those games before I can comment, and Jason says he'd be glad to help me out with those. So when Jason's feeling up to it and was ready, we'll do some baseball and softball podcasts because he is still watching them. He is watching them, and so that's great. Paul's been really busy. And haven't heard much from Paul lately. Paul's been quiet. but Paul's also refereeing a lot of high school baseball, umpiring, I should say. So he's keeping busy that way. So between his job and his umpiring, I don't know how much we're going to see of Paul until the high school baseball season ends. And so, but I got some stuff planned for the off season once basketball and football get over with. We're gonna have a little fun with it, and I want you guys to just kind of bear with me, ride it out. I know I'm a little late. I'm about a week and a half from my last podcast, and I didn't mean for it to go that long. It's just hard to find times when I can go live when I don't want to compete against Corey. I don't like competing against Lisa Bluter and Fran McCaffrey on their shows when they're live, and I don't like that kind of stuff. And plus, I got things going on Monday nights and Thursday nights anyway, so it's hard for me to go live on those nights with anybody. And I know I get my best audiences at night, and so just trying to figure it all out, guys. And I'm probably going to stick with Sundays for a while, get back to Sundays because Sunday there's no more football, and so that's a good thing. Unless, of course, are you guys going to be into that new Universal Football League or Universe Football League where they combine the XFL and the other league? Um, we got Bob Stutz coaching the Renegades along with Chuck Long coaching the offense all by himself this year. And so, and they are the reigning champs, I believe, of the XFL. I believe it was XFL that they were in last year, or maybe they might have been the other league. But they combined the league, but there's only like 10 teams, 8 teams. And so, really, it's just I thought when they combined them, everybody would have a team. But and the sad thing about it, that whole thing is just my personal opinion is that the same teams in the markets that have NFL teams are getting these FL universal teams or whatever they call it, Universal Football League teams. So uh, that's kind of sad. I would like to see somebody different get a shot at it. I mean, those games aren't that well attended anyway. So if you've ever watched them on TV, there's not a lot of crowd there. But again, they're doing this during baseball season and soccer season. This is when the high schools play their soccer. It's when the high school plays their baseball, college and plays their baseball, high school plays softball, colleges play softball. And so, and plus I think somebody's got their golf season going on during all that time. So people are really following other things. And, of course, that's when the NASCAR circuit ramps up, all that. So they really are fighting a battle to get, the dollars going there. And so we're going to leave it there. I'm just going to say, guys, thank you for watching. And again, subscribe, like, listen, and share. Okay. Let your friends know about this. And I'll get out of here now. And then we'll talk to you guys. Probably on Sunday we'll talk about the games this weekend. We'll talk about the wrestling meet, how it came out. And I'll meet you guys here on Sunday, probably about 6 or 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Bye.